Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Cosmic Tea. This week's episode is sponsored by me. It's just me. And I want to share with you the 2 ways that you can come into my vortex a little further if you feel the call. First thing is every month I open 6 to 8 spots for one-on-one galactic Akashic sessions. This is where I channel guidance from your guides, your ET guides, whoever comes through, and explore your galactic past parallel lives, your records, energy field. Absolutely nothing is off limits. You can get more information and access to booking and my waitlist at www.kirgrace.com. I will link that in the show notes. Also, the Starseed Sanctuary is my signature program and community for awakening starseeds, the one place that you can find all of my work, everything that you need to know about being a starseed, living as a starseed on Earth, understanding your unique energy system and why you're so sensitive. It's not meant to be a burden. It truly can be a gift. I want you to know how ascension relates to you in your daily life. I cover topics like, who are the Pleiadians? How do the Orion Wars affect us? What are the Orion Wars anyway? New Earth, 5D, all the things. But you know I'm not here just to brush over these hot topics. I also want to help you integrate and apply them to your daily life to create more joy and peace from the inside. I truly believe that is what we are all here to do as starseeds for the new Earth. I have used these tools with hundreds of clients now, and of course in my own life. Kundalini breathwork, meditation, mantra, quantum inner child work, channeled meditation journeys and workshops. All there for you. Also, the interactive Facebook group and private sanctuary podcast where you get exclusive access to Q&A from me. So as you go along your journey, you can ask questions, you can connect with other people, channeled energy updates, and more. It's like a membership that you only pay once for, and you get lifetime access forever as we grow and evolve together. So show notes, take a look, ask me any questions. I'm here for you. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Inner child work. And if you have questions as I'm talking, I'll scroll through them at the end. Okay, so quantum inner child work. We've all heard of inner child work. It's a form of kind of reparenting ourselves. But I wanted to go a little more into it and how it actually affects the auric field, how it connects with karma, and how the simples, it's not simple, okay? It can be really deep work, right? But whatever. That focusing on your present reality inner child is enough to dissipate lifetimes of karma because it's emotional and energetic imprinting in the auric field. For instance, use personal example because it's the only thing I know intimately. Say, all right, so the past year or so I had a very painful experience with friendship, female friendship, platonic friendship. This is a patterning in my life. I have, I guess for lack of more insightful words, been fucking burned and just obliterated by female friendships. And I think it's been some of the most painful experiences in my life, the deepest lessons. Very reflective of the mother wound, my very painful relationship with my mother, and the beliefs about myself and life that are functioning in parallel timelines in my auric field, right here, right now. And as the soul expands, when I see them in readings and just within my own work, I actually see them as like kind of tangled clusters of like very dense energy vibrating. And again, for lack of like a better word, because I don't always use the word attracting, but in a sense, attracting a present day experience that is the same emotional vibration as the inner child timeline, functioning from that trauma. I hope that makes sense. Excuse me, one second. So anyway, I experienced an incredibly painful dissipation of a friendship. And within realizing that this person was, oh God, it's so hard to like not put blame on this person, right? I want to be like, she's this, she's that, she's all of these things. Grand scheme, zoomed out, greatest motherfucking spiritual teacher because she brought up some deep wounds. Anyway, so when I finally cut the cords and was like, I can't allow this treatment in my life anymore. It hurts too much. It's too painful. It's not right. What came up for me, I was like, okay, at the beginning of the friendship, what did I feel to create such an attachment and codependence on this person? Okay, because I was codependent. I was attached to the relationship. I was attached to what I felt I got from this person. So I was projecting something that I could only find outside of myself. Okay? I felt so deeply seen. I felt psychically seen. I felt like this person understood how deeply I feel. I felt emotionally validated. I felt just grounded and excited and platonically in love with this person because of all of these things, right? Feeling seen, feeling emotionally validated. So within the work that I was doing around it, it came up. What's the earliest time that you can remember wanting that outside of yourself? And for me, it was from my mother. I desperately desired to be emotionally validated and emotionally held and psychically seen. I wanted someone to tell me I'm intuitive. Tell me my feelings are valid. Tell me that my experience is valid. So in that desperation as a child, and then having that expectation severed by my mother's own trauma and all her stuff and her inability to hold any space for a child, my inner child believed, I can't get it. I can't get it. I'm going to keep looking for it in other people. For me, female friendships. And then the teaching within that is we don't need it outside of ourselves. The teaching is I am emotionally validated simply because I am a child of the universe and I exist. So going into the quantum field with the inner child, sitting and meditating on that and just allowing the vision to come through, I've seen all different ages, but specifically recently, I saw like 7-year-old little Kirsten on the playground being ignored, isolated, cut out from friend groups, elementary school. And it felt so vivid, right? And again, it was that repeat emotional patterning. The vibration of that little cluster created in childhood, me standing on the playground, desperate. Can you see me emotionally? Can you validate my intuition? And kind of making it in my mind, okay, there's something wrong with me. I need to change myself to be accepted and loved. I'm not worthy of friendship unless I'm different, right? Things like that. Those are our core wounds. Those are the layers in our auric fields, blocking us from remembering our innate nature. And when it comes to past life work, what we bring into this life from past lives is lodged into the emotional field. That's what creates karma. That's what creates past life trauma. The emotional field is also what creates dis-ease in the physical body. So if I have intense emotional trauma in other lives that I have yet to resolve, then I come into this life with it in my emotional body, there's going to be physical instances of that, right? But we don't necessarily have to go through all of the past lives because it's always going to be right here within our own inner child. That's the most tangible way to really clear through a lot of this emotional body, and that turns into like mental patterning where we create our beliefs from. You get what I'm saying? So, another brief story. I mean, because every one of us can go on and on about every single emotional trigger in your life is an inner child existing in a parallel timeline in your electromagnetic field. Coming up because it's ready to remember who they really are. And the reason that the triggers present themselves is because you are ready and you can handle it and you can reparent yourself. You can learn to love and create compassion for that aspect of yourself. This is I don't know if you can tell, this is my greatest passion. Quantum inner child work is my number one absolute passion. It is my personal experience and belief that it is just mind-blowing, unbelievable, heart-opening healing work. If you are experiencing, a block in the chakras or a block in this, or I can't manifest, blah, 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 it all comes back to your current emotional triggers and an inner child, period. In my understanding, in my experience, in my work. And if it doesn't resonate, that's fine. I'm not here to be like another parent, right? Being like to your inner child. I'm just offering a pathway. A pathway. Does anyone have any questions? I hope that made sense. It's the work that I do in my one-on-one intuitive readings. It always goes back to an inner child. All the time, always. I'm so grateful for this work. And when I do the readings, and I don't know if anyone's on here has had one of these readings with me, but I pretty much ask you to unload, and then I get visions of the child, the age, the energetic patterns in your auric field from the specific child. And I'm just so humbled by the work, always. No questions? Did I just... Oh my God! I didn't scroll down. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's see. Silly goose, Kirsten. Do you believe we have multiple inner child at different ages where you experience trauma? Yes, 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 yes. Is the stardust around me real? No, it's a filter. It's my favorite. It's called 1111, and I actually do also see it. I'm like, it's like stardust. So I want to go back to that question. Do you believe we have multiple inner child at all different ages? 100%, absolutely. That's why it's like, it can be so intuitive because you're never wrong. There's trauma at every single age of your childhood, and it's going to be similar. It's going to be like repatterned over and over. So for instance, when I go to my intuitive, because she's my mentor and she really honed me in on this very specific work, I could be going on about anything, really focus that it's actually about someone else, not me. And she'll be like, all right, how old is she? How old is the one coming up? And it's like 10, 7, 3, 18, because it could be younger adult too. It's never ending work, but holy shit, it's powerful. Hey, want to know, does intuition change? Earlier I got strong intuition to leave something. I left it and now I'm confused. It is saying for me to go again. I don't know if it is intuition or thinking. So I think we've all been there, right? Or we get an intuitive hit and then we question it. So I just want to validate that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not alone in that. And to take away right or wrong decision, the best work for you right now is to sit where you are. And I'm going to make this about the inner child and ask yourself, when did I forget to just trust myself and trust life and trust I'm safe where I am, regardless of decisions you make? Because at the end of the day, you cannot fuck this up. You can't fuck anything up. Every single decision is going to bring you exactly where you need to be. And your only job is to come back in here and trust yourself. So the inner child work within that, journal on this. When in my childhood can I remember the feeling of not trusting myself, not trusting my choices, being told I'm wrong, being told that my emotions are not safe guidance? Journal on that, sit with that, and just free write what ages come up, what memories come up. And then can you imagine those ages and those memories in your mind's eye? Present self moves into those memories and look at that child and say, what do you need? I want you to know you're safe, and so on. Entanglement energy. Yes. Okay, let me scroll back. I need to nurture all of my inner children. I have a lot of work to do. We all do. But you know, if you look at it as like the gentle, beautiful reminder that all of the work we need to do is just sitting with ourselves, sometimes that's a damn relief. For me, it's a damn relief because I look outside, I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. I need to fix that. I need to talk about that. I need to preach this. I need to be right about this. Whoop. Actually, it's a 7-year-old that was told her feelings aren't valid. And that to me, that's so juicy. I experience visions and strong intuitions, but I deny them. I ignore them and I try to avoid them because they scare me. Why? So very similar to the other question that I had just answered, it would be really helpful to go back and conjure up memories of when you had a feeling and then everyone around you told you that it's not valid. And obviously this isn't like, one-on-one work, so I'm not going to be pulling the specific age and going deep into it, but like in general, that's my general answer for that. I'm healing every day. I notice every negative feeling of mine and ask myself why this happens. And then I try to do the shadow work. That's beautiful. And personally, like in the past, the concept of shadow work felt really heavy and scary to me. And so when I needed to, I reworded it like I'm going to sit with my inner child, because it's the same thing. Our shadows are created by beliefs that are not in alignment with our light, right? So pure light, and then a belief that's created in childhood creates the shadow. So the wounded inner child is creating the shadow work. I'm a genius. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I'm sorry, did I miss any questions? If I did, okay. How did you figure out the reason your inner child got hurt the first time? So I was introduced to this work by my mentor 8 years ago. I went to her just by recommendation as an intuitive because I had neck pain, and I intuitively knew that it was in my emotional field. And I still have, I don't want to go into that, and it just blew my mind. And being highly intuitive myself and having an array of psychic gifts, it's like, well, where do I want to hone in on this? Right? So I want to like predict the future or focus on all of this scary stuff? Or do I want to get to the core? And I believe that this is the core work. So the first time was like 8 years ago. It was introduced to me by me going to an intuitive and realizing that my specific gifts also lie within this work. And I found that the most effective readings that I do have always been the inner child work. I have a few examples from readings that are really interesting, just briefly. I had a reading with a beautiful young woman, and I saw her at a specific age. I'm going to keep the details like very vague because I don't, privacy. I saw her at a very specific age, and I get very specific ages, and it's repeated over and over. And at first, sometimes the client is like, what? But then like it clicks once I start elaborating on the energetic patterning. But I saw her at a very specific age, and then I saw her in like an Alice in Wonderland type thing, and then I was getting specific feelings and messages from this inner child. And it happened to be the age that she started doing drugs and tripped. And she said, oh my God, my first trip, I was like in Alice in Wonderland. And so I was seeing that, and we were bringing up that inner child for her to kind of reintegrate. And then I recently got a message from someone months and months ago during our reading. I couldn't latch away from it being a 3-year-old. We don't always remember what it is. And she was coming to me about her present day anxiety. And it was just like 3-year-old. I was seeing her. I was feeling her. I was seeing her aura. Her guides were coming in to like explain some stuff. And months later, she was like, holy shit. I just connected that at that age, it's when my parent, one of her parents, began leaving her alone to go indulge in their own activities. And it's like a part of when anxiety of feeling unsafe, abandonment issues started, stuff like that. So, yeah. So I'm actually Friday, the 3rd of September. So this next Friday, this coming Friday, whatever. I'm doing a Zoom class on the quantum inner child work. So it's breath work, pranayama, journal prompts and affirmations around this work to kind of bring up a specific age for you. We're going to like dive into like your current emotional triggers, blocks, whatever. And then a channeled meditation to kind of go face to face with that inner child that comes up during the journal work. If you're interested in that, obviously no pressure, but like if you're interested in that, it's $25, and you can, my link, it's like the link in the bio for more information. And if you want to get in on that, if you can't make it live, if you sign up, you automatically get the recording and the affirmations and the journal prompts. So like, feel free to check that out. I'm excited for it. As I've mentioned, it's just, I freaking love this stuff. It's unbelievable. And, I'll share another personal story, because personally, I love when people share personal stories, because really like my personal energetic patterning is a reflective view. Like we can just always learn from each other. I really believe so deeply. So I've been really doing work around money and finances, and do I deserve financial freedom? Do I deserve monetary abundance? Like all of this layers of guilt and shame. And like at the end of the day, it comes down to like, am I worthy of my desires or not? Are you worthy of your desires or not? Right? And I was doing my own like quantum meditation, as I do. And I saw little me, and this is very personal, very private, but I'm here to just be me. So I saw little me being dragged down the hallway by her hair, because that's something that I experienced growing up, physical abuse. And I know I'm not alone in that. And I'm not here to blame anyone. And all of our trauma is valid, all the layers of it. And I saw that, and I saw that little girl, and I felt the emotional imprinting. And like her emotional reality was, I am not worthy. Life is going to drag me by my hair metaphorically, because it happened literally as a child. Being dragged, kicked, and so on. So I took that emotional patterning of, I really must not deserve to be here. I really must not deserve to have a good life. That's how deep it can go. Wow, I just had a breakthrough. My abandoned wounds and the reason why I don't speak up. Because when I was 2, my parents separated. I remember my mom asking me who I want to live with. I could cry. See how, like this stuff is so real. And once we create space for that inner child who experienced that trauma, and then in a way was kind of abandoned by us because we're so distracted by all of the outside stuff, that's massive energy work. That is life-changing, and you will see it in your reality. You will see it in your reality. Another cool story is I do this work with my personal intuitive because I'm human as fuck and I get distracted and I need a hand to hold as well with this work. So once my intuitive and the current reality that was like coming up, we went in, she's like, how old is she? And it was 20-year-old. So again, it could be young adults, right? And this experience with my boyfriend at the time, and the pain and the trauma and the heartbreak, these things we experience. And it was like, well, what does she need? I don't even remember what it was. Okay? But I'm almost 34, so this was like last summer. And I hadn't talked to that boyfriend in over 12 years. He moved out of state, zero connection. We're not friends on Instagram, Facebook, nothing, none of it. That week, after that session where I brought in the 20-year-old, heartbroken by this boyfriend, this person, brought her back in, gave her what she needed, he reached out to me saying like basically everything that 20-year-old would have really loved to hear, but present reality is like, I don't, like I'm in a very happy relationship, I've grown past it, yada yada. But it just kind of like shows that when you do the inner work, it ripples out, and then your physical reality affirms it. I barely remember my childhood, a trauma response, I think. I think that's really common. And I find that I don't remember a lot either until I started doing this work, and memories would just pop up. And then I validate them as like, oh, that inner child wants to be talked to. Severe PTSD from my childhood. My mom abandoned me and I lived with my addict father, and I felt unworthy for far too long. I've transformed pain into my purpose. I love being a healer, and I love you. I love you too, and wow. Thank you for sharing that. We can all help each other, I think, by just exposing, where a lot of our wounds come from and being able to heal them layer by layer. So again, this coming Friday, I am doing a live Zoom class on this work, breath work, guided, followed by journaling and affirmations to bring up a specific inner child for you. Whatever comes up, I'll guide you through it. I'm good at it. And then a channeled meditation to hold space for that inner child and reintegrate he or she or they back in. And my friends, that is ascension. We do not abandon our shadow aspects and our inner children in the name of ascension, because it's all right here, right now. So if you're interested in that class, DM me or link in bio. You can either join live or you will automatically receive the recording when you sign up. So thank you everyone for your sharing and your questions and your presence. Thank you for co-creating with me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Cosmic Tea. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share on your socials, leave a review, tag me, share with your friends. All of the things really help me, and I appreciate it so much. Also, if you want to hear from me every single Monday morning in your email, subscribe to the Magic 5. It's a free newsletter filled with Starseed Transmissions, magical tidbits, astrological happenings, and of course, unhinged human riffs on life. Show notes, baby. Take a peek, click it, subscribe, and I will see you in your inbox. Bye.